What up, guys? This is Case from Systemic Caseism. Hope everybody's evening is going very well. I had a great weekend. Why do feminists support radical Islam and trans stuff? I don't know. The American mind is a very strange thing to understand, especially the feminist mind, right? I've got to admit, I don't understand the whole, we're going to support radical Islam and be feminists. I don't see how the two go together, but you're not supposed to make sense of it. For somehow they find themselves aligned with a religion that would put them in burqas for a group of women that will not shut the hell up ever. It's really fascinating because the hypocrisy and the counterintuitiveness of it is just amazing. And for some reason, they seem to support radical Islamic terrorism without batting an eye. And they really hate Christianity. Feminists absolutely loathe Christianity for being patriarchal, but they seem to have no problem with Islam. And I don't know what that is. I wish somebody could explain it to me, because both religions are technically going to be patriarchal, but only one of them is putting a burqa on you or a hijab or telling you you've got to cover up. I mean, when you're talking about patriarchy, you've got to distinguish between tyrannical and beneficial. It seems like tyrannical patriarchy is what they actually support. I'm just making observations here. I have no idea why they support this. It just seems like an awful lot of them do. At the heart of the Palestine marches and protests are a bunch of radical feminists, which is just weird to me, because I don't think they'd be so well received in the country that they are marching on behalf of. I know this doesn't apply to all of them. You know, there are exceptions, but the exceptions prove the rule. And the rule seems to be that if you're a radical feminist, you support Islam in its most radical form. I'm not saying that all Islam is radical, but all forms of radical Islam are supported by staunch feminists for whatever reason. I believe feminism has kind of hijacked women in general. The women's movement has hijacked itself. The only people that I can find that support men competing in women's sports seem to be radical feminists. They've even come up with a term to exclude the feminists that don't support getting beat by men in dresses, which is called TERF. I think it's more popular over in England, which stands for trans exclusionary radical feminists. They hate each other. And I don't know that we really need this movement anymore in America or anywhere in the world. It seems like it's doing a lot more harm than good. It's pretty much devolved into just misandry, which is the hatred of men and hating the United States and Western civilization more broadly in general. There's a lot of critiques of it with not a lot of solutions on what to do. Which, hey, look, you should be able to critique the system in which you're living under. But I have yet to hear any solutions from radical feminists on how to make anything better other than just give us all the power and let's see what happens. The male feminist, that's a weird creature. That shouldn't exist. They're usually the creepiest, most perverted, weird guys that you'll ever find, yet they align themselves perfectly with the feminists. If they say all the right things, maybe they get some action. You don't want to be friends with male feminists, ladies. And you really don't want to do feminism anymore. I think feminism has run its course. All right, everybody's got all the rights now. You don't need to keep going for more rights. What more rights do you need? Really, at the end of the day, what more rights do you need? Okay, yeah, you're going to hit me with the Roe versus Wade crap. That depends on your state, and, you could just cross state lines. So it's not really one of your most fundamental rights. Do you have the right to speak? Yes. Do you have the right to hold political office? Yes. Do you have the right to go and work a job and be just as miserable as everybody else? Yes. Do you have the right to raise children without a man? Yes. Do you have the right to raise children with a man? Yes. See, the feminists seem to hate the family first and foremost. They hate men. They hate the family. I don't know why. I think family is a good thing. I know not all families are perfect, but I think families are kind of the fundamental building block of civilization. And without families, what you have is a lot of disconnected, disjointed, unhappy, miserable, shrieking people. You get weak men and you get crazy women. That doesn't seem to be a good thing. We've had feminism, radical feminism for, I think really since the 1960s. And it's still going on as if they're still fighting for rights. You have all the rights now. Can we end the movement? Success. You've succeeded. Okay, your movement has succeeded. I don't know what more rights you want, except it seems like you're infringing on women's rights more and more and more with the radical feminist movement. You want men and women's sports. Just say it. So I don't know. I've noticed that the people that treat women the worst too are often the feminists. They don't seem to want any women to be happy if it aligns with any sort of social norm, right? Like, you shouldn't be in a happy heterosexual marriage, according to the feminists. That's oppression. Yep, it's oppression. You don't want to do that. Don't want to enjoy being a mother. Don't want to do that. You can have kids, but your highest virtue is to go and abandon them all day for daycare and to be proud of that, and to not want your own kids. It's weird. It's weird, but I think feminism has just turned into this rotten, evil, monstrous thing that's making everybody miserable. Everybody around the feminist mindset is miserable. I've never seen a happy one. Do they exist? They're probably angry just at the thought of somebody that is not a feminist existing. They've made it very, very clear that they're not going to stop. I don't even think they know what they're fighting for anymore. What are they fighting for? Like, if you take the Roe versus Wade stuff out of there, what are you fighting for, feminists? What's left to fight for? What is there left to do? You've achieved equality. Congratulations. You can now do any job that men can do. But that's not enough. Like, what more is there? The logical conclusion seems to be transgenderism, which is, making everybody just more and more unhinged, making everything more confusing. We're not even allowed to really discuss the topic without getting shut down. Like, hey, do you think maybe there's a downside to starting people on this so young? You think maybe they'll have regrets? Shut up. Shut up. You're not allowed to comment on it because you're not in that group. Well, I think I am allowed to comment on it because I can comment on anything I want because I live in the United States of America. They'd shut down free speech, too, if the feminists had their way. Mark my words, they'd be the first people to want to take free speech away. They want their free speech. They just don't want your free speech. They don't want to be criticized. Well, you have all the rights. You've made yourself miserable. I think it's time for the movement to go away now, find some other cause, or actually really be about women's liberation again and speak out against all the crazy things that are happening with women's sports, or I don't know, speak out against Islamic regimes that put their women in hijabs and want to have harems. But you wouldn't want to do that. Wouldn't want to do that. All right, I can't make any sense of it. Hopefully somebody in the comments will be able to, but I doubt it. It seems to be a movement that will just never stop until they've achieved complete and total destruction of Western civilization. And then, and only then, will they be happy. And by happy, I mean miserable and shrieking about oppressive patriarchy and tyranny. Peace.